Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Now, I have been playing a lot of 2016's LEGO Avengers, which came out about 5 years ago, LEGO Marvel Avengers, and it's one of my favorite games. Probably in priority, it's LEGO Batman 2, LEGO Star Wars, The Complete Saga, and then LEGO Marvel's Avengers. It's a great game, I love it, I really like the MCU, and just a game based off of the MCU primarily is just something I was really excited for, and I definitely was not disappointed. It's a great game. It's got the LEGO humor. It's got the MCU fun. It's just overall a really fantastic game. And I thought, since it's been about 5 years, why have they not done a second game? It was very popular, and when the game came out, it was really popular. Now 2 more Avengers movies have been made. Why have they not made any games for those movies? They made an Infinity War pack for LEGO Marvel Superheroes, which had a really, I have to say, disappointing story. It's really disappointing, in my opinion. Why have they not made Avengers Part 2? So then I started thinking, what could they do for LEGO Avengers 2? So I started putting down a list, and, well, here's what I think could be possible for LEGO Avengers 2. And this is going to be a really long video, so I'll have timestamps in the bottom. And I'm also going to be doing a mini timeline, so I'd expect for this game to release 2024. Right, like 2 years after Skywalker Saga, this would be their next game, which would be LEGO Marvel's Avengers: The Infinity Saga. Which I know it's similar title to Skywalker Saga. However, that's what Disney calls Infinity War and Endgame and all that stuff as the Infinity Saga, so that's what I would primarily call the game. So the Infinity Saga would mostly revolve around Infinity War and Endgame, but it'll have some DLC packs. So in 2024, you would get the base game, and I'm going to go through the first part of the game, which is Infinity War. Now, there's going to be roughly 6 to 7 missions per each game. However, some level will have sub-levels in them, like sometimes it'll be a 3-part level, a 2-part level, things like that. So, starting with this off, we have Infinity War. We'll start off the mission with New York. So, this will take place near the Sanctum Sanctorum, where Ebony Maw and the big donut, I forgot what the ship is called, attacks New York. So, the characters you'll be able to play as will start off as Doctor Strange and Iron Man and Bruce Banner, and then later it'll add on Spider-Man and Wong as the part 2 to the mission, so that would be how it plays out in the beginning. Then the second level, we'll move to Europe, where it'll start off with just Wanda and Vision, and then they'll go to the train station, and you'll be able to play as Captain America, Falcon, or Black Widow. And like most LEGO games, there's going to be a lot of mini missions you have to do, like you have to build a drill, or you have to build a car to traverse the area. Not just different missions that you're going to have to do in the levels, so it's going to be using these characters. Next, after that, we're going to have the Collector's Vault on Nowhere. So if this, you would play as the main Guardians, so you would have Gamora, Drax, Star-Lord, and Mantis. And then at the end, you'd go around trying to look for the Reality Stone, and then you'll have a small confrontation with Thanos, and then the Gamora will disappear, and that'll be the end of the mission, or end of the level, and there'll be a little cutscene where there'll be Gamora and Thanos. This as well as some part later where it's going to be a little difficult for LEGO to be able to tell this part of the story, which is the Soul Stone. But I think with their cartoony violence and how they sort of lighten things up in the games, I think they'd be able to make the death scene pretty simple and more child-friendly. Then, after that, we'll have the scene where you make Stormbreaker. So we'll have Rocket, Groot, and Thor, as well as I believe his name is Dimitri, but I forget what his name. It's the giant that creates Stormbreaker. He won't be a major character to play as. It'll mostly be Star-Lord, Groot, or Thor, Groot, and Rocket. But he'll be a small character that you could also play as. Then, second part, or the second to last part of Infinity War, we've got Titan. You'll be able to play as Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Star-Lord, and then later Spider-Man, Drax, Mantis, or Nebula. And you'll be fighting Thanos, and ultimately, it ends the same way. Star-Lord has a breakdown, they give up the Time Stone, and Tony Stark gets stabbed. All that happens. And then the last mission of Infinity War, you got Wakanda, and you'll have Black Panther, Captain America, Groot, Rocket, Thor, Wanda, and finally Vision. Now, this part will be a three-parter. You'll have Black Panther and Captain America taking on the front of the battle. And then you'll have Groot, Thor, and Rocket come in through the, I believe it's called the Bifrost. And then that'll be the second part. And the last part will be Wanda and Vision, where you're trying to break the the Mind Stone. And then Thanos will snap, and that's the end of Infinity War. And I'll explain more on what will happen in this part, but that'll be the end of that part. Then we've got Endgame, and so the first level will be on the Guardians ship, which will be Nebula and Tony Stark. They will just be doing missions around the ship, just trying to clear some of the area, do some random mission, create some sort of beacon or something, and then it'll play a cutscene where Captain Marvel comes, and then they're on Earth now. Then it'll go 5 years later, and you have Scott Lang and trying to leave the quantum realm, and this one is a bit far-fetched, but I think it'd be definitely an interesting way to do this. You'd have Scott Lang and the rat that frees him, and you'll have to try to escape the area. So I think that'd be pretty cool. You could have the rat try to like go into small areas, trying to grab like different tools and things, and then Scott Lang is the one that like puts it together and then breaks them free, something like that. I think that'd be pretty interesting. Then after that, you have to recruit Thor. So we'd have Hulk and Rocket, or this would be Smart Hulk, I guess. You'll have Smart Hulk and Rocket, and you have to go to Asgard and try to recruit Thor. And so you'll be able to like do missions. Like he'll be asking you to get him supplies, either like a bottle of beer, a new video game, something like that. You'll have to get him his stuff, and then finally he'll come and help you. And so that's that. Then after that, we have to build the time machine. So the characters you can play as are Smart Hulk, Captain America, and Scott Lang. And this will be after the Tony Stark has built the time machine and things. So they're all building the time machine together, doing things like that. Maybe Tony Stark can be a small character, but I mostly think that it'd be Hulk, Captain America, and Scott Lang. Then, once that's all created, you have collecting the Infinity Stones, and this will be separate. This is by far the largest mission or level. This will be separated into 6 missions, which will be collecting the Time Stone, where you'll have Bruce Banner when he is, I guess, a ghost. Then you'll have the Ancient One, and you'll have to try to be able to get the Mind Stone out of the Eye of Agamotto. Then after that, you have to collect the Soul Stone, which will have Black Widow and Hawkeye. This one could be a little gory as well, but I think LEGO would be able to make it more appropriate. Then you have to collect the Reality Stone and be Rocket and Thor, and it would be a really good way to be able to see Asgard again, like old Asgard, because it's been there isn't a lot of Asgard material in Avengers, as well as LEGO Marvel Superheroes and LEGO Marvel Superheroes 2. I know they are playable areas, but they're like not that big. So I think this would be a good way for people to see like a really high detailed Asgard. So that'd be cool. Then after you collect the Reality Stone, you would have to collect the Mind Stone. So you'd have Captain America, Iron Man, and Ant-Man, where you have to get the Mind Stone from the Scepter, and so that'll be that. Then after that, you have to collect the Power Stone, where you'll play as Nebula and War Machine. So you just have to go around, try to open the doors and things, try to get all the stuff on Morag done, and then Nebula will be sucked up by Thanos, and that'll be that. And then after that, you have to collect the Space Stone. So it'll be Captain America and Iron Man, but this time they'll be in Camp Lehigh, and they'll have to do their collecting stuff. So it'll be, you're kind of jumping through many different timelines. So I guess that'd be pretty interesting to see as a Lego game. Then once that's all collected, you have to prepare the snap. So you'll have to build the Infinity Gauntlet, try to clean up the area, do all that kind of stuff. You'd mostly play as Hulk, Iron Man, and Tony in Avengers Compound. Then you'll snap, and then the attack will come, and you'll have to escape from the compound rubble, which will be the other mission. So after you collect the stones, one level is preparing the snap, the other level is escaping the compound, and when you're escaping the compound, you'll play as Ant-Man and Rocket. Then the next level is Thanos Fight Part 1, where it's Thor, Iron Man, and then Captain America. And then the second part of the Thanos fight will be Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, and then everyone else. This is going to be like a really long timed cutscene. It's going to be like a really big thing, big part of the game. I'd say this cutscene lasts for about 3 minutes, where you're flying around, switching between characters. You're either Spider-Man, then you hand it over to Black Panther, then he hands it over to Clint, or Clint and then Black Panther. Whatever the cutscene plays out in the movie, that's how it would play out in the game, and it'll all be timed, so you'll have to do like button mashing and things. So I think that'd be really, really cool. And then Tony Stark will snap, everyone will disappear, and that'll be the end of the game. Now, for post-DLC missions, or post-DLCs, once about maybe 2-3 months after the game has come out, so I'd say if this releases summer 2024, I'd say quarter 3, quarter 4 of 2024, we could expect the first DLC mission, which would be Shang-Chi. And the minifigures we'd get would be, of course, Shang-Chi, then Katie, and then Wenwu, and then Xialing, Trevor Slattery, Razorfist. I apologize if I mispronounce any of those names. I'm very not that great at pronouncing names, but those would be the characters for the Shang-Chi DLC mission. And then the mission itself would be in the final battle, which would be the Battle of Tai Lo. I believe that's what it's called. And you'd have the Great Protector, and then all the other mystical creatures, and then you'll have to fight and destroy all the monsters and things. So I think that'd be an interesting looking mission, especially with next-gen technology. I think it'll be really cool. Then the second DLC mission, which I believe could come out if in this timeline, 2025 January, is Black Panther. Now I know Black Panther came out like about 3-4 years ago. When this comes out, it's gonna be like 5-6 years ago. So it's gonna be quite some time. However, I think Black Panther's kind of important because not a lot of characters from Black Panther are in a lot of things. So the characters I'd choose would be Civil War Black Panther, since we're gonna get Infinity War Black Panther, which is just regular Black Panther suit, and Endgame Black Panther. So I thought Civil War Black Panther would be a good decision because it's a really cool looking suit. Then we'd get Eric Killmonger, which I think he'd come with 2 variants. One would be in his final gold suit, and the other one would be his street clothes suit and the mask that he steals from the museum. So I think that'd be really cool. Then Claw would be our next character. He'd have his robot arm. Really nice. It would be really cool to see him. Then we'd get Everett K. Ross. I think it'd be really nice to get him. If it was done right, it'd be a good character. Then Nakia, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And I think she'd be an interesting character to have, especially if they do the acrobat physics right. Then Okoye, I think Okoye might be, if they could do Okoye for Infinity War or Endgame, but if they don't, they could definitely do it for Black Panther. Then M'Baku, that definitely I'd love to see. And then probably some vehicles that'd come in this, most likely one of the rhinos, but that may come in Infinity War. And then I think maybe a Wakandan transport or speeder that you see from the beginning of Black Panther. I think that'd be really cool to see as a vehicle. And then for the missions, I'm thinking a casino where you have Claw and Black Panther, and then everyone's fighting. Maybe you could do a save Stan Lee scenario here, but because it's a DLC, I don't think LEGO would do it because you have to pay to be able to get Stan Lee, and I don't think that'd be great. But besides that, I think Black Panther would definitely be something that I'd love to see. Maybe Eternals, however, I will cover them a little later. Now, for DLC character packs, definitely they have to do a Disney Plus character pack. So what I'm thinking is Hawkeye, Loki, Falcon Winter Soldier, just all that kind of stuff. So for Disney Plus, we got Clint in Hawkeye, and then Kate Bishop in her suit. Then we have Loki in his TVA jacket and Sylvie, which we got in the CMF pack. Then Wanda in her final outfit, and then White Vision, who we also saw in the CMF pack. You're going to see a lot of similarities to the CMF series. Then Bucky, and then Captain America, which is Sam Wilson, also from the CMF pack. And then lastly, we'll have Agatha Harkness and Mobius. I think they're definitely characters that we missed out in the CMF series, and I think we definitely need them for the DLC pack. Then for Eternals, I think Eternals is definitely an important DLC character pack. We get Cersei, Icarus, Athena, Sprite, Gilgamesh, Ajax, Kingo, Akari, Druig, and then Phastos. Then another DLC pack is Spider-Man. They had a Spider-Man pack in the first Avengers game, but it's not that. It's mostly the Lego sets. I'm thinking we do it based off of the movies. So we've got the No Way Home suit, so the gold emblem suit, which is his modified suit, and then we have the black Electro suit, which is his, I believe, inside out. He's just wearing the advanced suit inside out. Speaking of advanced suits, we'd also get the advanced suit as a minifigure, and then we'd get the Spider-Man Zombie Slayer minifigure. I think he's definitely important. He's really cool looking. I think a lot of people would really like him, and especially since this isn't a entirely single movie based DLC, it's mostly just a character based DLC. I think he'd be really important. I think a lot of people would really like him. Then we'd get Ned, Aunt May, and MJ, who would be just regular civilian characters, I guess, but I think Ned could get an ability where he's able to like hack into stuff, since he sort of is a computer nerd, kind of. And then for villains, we get Vulture and Mysterio, and not really a villain, but I think people would just go crazy for this character. J. Jonah Jameson, I think they would love him. He'd be perfect and just would overall bring this series together. Then for our last DLC pack, I'm sort of ripping this off of the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga Legacy minifigures pack. This is the Legacy Avengers, and it would include 6 Avengers with 2 variants each, and all of them would be the minifigures from 2012 for the Avengers movies, and then they'd have a variant of the 2016 Avengers, which would be Age of Ultron. So it'd tie the first Avengers game to this one, and I think a lot of people really like it, since nowhere in this movie or in this game do these suits pop up, and I think it'd be perfect. Then we have some open worlds. The last game had a lot of open worlds, like Manhattan, Malibu, Asgard, just places like that. And I think this game really needs open worlds. So I'm thinking Manhattan, Wakanda, and Wakanda would have both the city as well as the fields where the final battle in Infinity War happens. Then New Asgard, and you can fast travel to it using the Guardian's ship. Then Avengers Compound, which would not really be an open world. It's mostly just an area inside Manhattan. And then Nowhere. I think Nowhere would be really cool. But there's not a lot of stuff you can do with Nowhere, because it's too big. And if you want to make, they probably won't do Nowhere. But that'd be really cool to see. But one important detail, this is something that LEGO's actually going to be doing, or TT Games is going to be doing for the LEGO Star Wars Skywalker Saga. It's an adaptive world where if you're playing sequel or original trilogy, there's no Alderaan, but if you're playing prequel trilogy, there is Alderaan. So similarly, if you play post Infinity War but pre Endgame, there's going to be 50% of people just not, the world is just going to look empty, and it's just going to look a lot more gray, and I think that'll be really cool. But if you play post Endgame, the compound, Avengers compound, will be destroyed. It's going to just be just a construction site, so that'll be something there. So just an adaptive world, and I think that'd be really cool. But that's all for this video. That I really wish we could see Avengers 2. Avengers is one of my favorite LEGO games. It's so cool. The action, the animations, the characters, just a great game overall. And I'd love to see LEGO and TT Games tackle a sequel to the game. And this is what I think could be possible. So let me know what you think of my idea in the comments. I'll see you in the next video. Hope you have a great day, and goodbye.